Chapter 1: The Demand. The stars were unusually quiet that night when the message arrived. A massive shimmering spacecraft appeared in Earth's orbit, eclipsing the moon. It loomed above humanity's cradle with a cold, unfeeling presence, its edges blurred by the black void of space. The arrival had been anticipated, feared, but never truly prepared for. The Galactic Empire, a sprawling collection of worlds known to be ruthless, efficient, and indifferent to the desires of weaker civilizations, had come. And they'd made their message chillingly clear. "This is Admiral Kassan Vri of the Galactic Imperial Fleet," the voice rang out, translated into Earth's languages simultaneously. It was a voice devoid of emotion, thick with authority. "You are hereby commanded to submit to the Empire, kneel before the order we bring, or face annihilation. Resist and your world will suffer the same fate as those who came before you." Earth's leaders scrambled to meet, convening in underground bunkers and secured rooms across the globe. The ultimatum was delivered with a stark deadline: 24 hours to decide. Submit and join the Empire as another insignificant, obedient colony, or face a fate worse than extinction. But humanity had a secret. Chapter 2: Project Exodus. Only a select few knew of Project Exodus, humanity's best-kept secret. For decades, Earth's brightest minds had pooled resources, innovated, and developed weaponry that had been considered science fiction until now. Project Exodus wasn't just a defense program. It was an escape plan, a contingency in case Earth had to wage war on an unimaginable scale. Dr. Evelyn Arden, the lead scientist of Project Exodus, sat in a dimly lit command center surrounded by massive screens and blinking lights. She was one of the few civilians permitted to remain within the military's nerve center, hidden far below the Rockies. "We always knew they'd come," Evelyn whispered to herself, her hand shaking as she stared at the live feed from Earth's orbit. Her voice trembled as she activated the comms to Earth's Emergency Council. "We can't surrender. If we do, humanity will become nothing more than another labor force for their empire." General Marius Talbot, grizzled and stubborn, glanced at her from the opposite end of the table. "Do we have the means to resist? The Exodus fleet hasn't even been field-tested, Doctor. These ships are unproven in actual combat." Evelyn turned, fire flashing in her eyes. "General, if we don't test them now, we won't get a second chance." He studied her, weighing her words. The hum of the comms was interrupted by another chilling broadcast from the Empire. "Earth," Admiral Vri continued, "your hour is near. Those who kneel will be spared. Those who resist will be destroyed. Make your choice." The leaders exchanged uneasy glances. Evelyn broke the silence. "We have another option, one that could send a message. We don't just defend Earth. We take the fight to them." The room fell silent as her words sank in. The generals, politicians, and analysts glanced around in confusion, some even in horror. Evelyn's plan was audacious, suicidal even. But for humanity, it was the only chance. Chapter 3: Burning the Stars. 3 hours later, the Exodus fleet surged into the blackness of space. Earth's newest ships, sleek and deadly, crafted in secret, armed with humanity's most dangerous technology. They had only one mission: hit the Empire where it hurt. Each ship carried experimental weapons known only to the core members of Project Exodus. The pulse-fire cannons, capable of atomizing hulls in seconds, the blaze blades, an artificial plasma field designed to rip through enemy shields, and perhaps the most dangerous of all, the Stardust device, a last-resort bomb designed to destabilize a star's gravitational field. This bomb, if used, would turn a star system into a supernova in hours, ensuring nothing but cosmic dust would remain. On board the SS Valiant, Captain Laura Kessler gripped the controls, her knuckles white against the polished steel. Her crew was tense, eyes fixed on their stations as they awaited orders. "Captain," her lieutenant muttered, "do you think we stand a chance against that?" His gaze drifted toward the Imperial dreadnought that blocked Earth's moon. "We don't have to destroy the whole Empire," Captain Kessler replied. "Just make them think twice. And if we can burn a few of their worlds in the process, well, they might finally understand who they're dealing with." The orders came through. "Valiant, you are cleared for Operation Burnback." "Repeat, Operation Burnback is a go." Kessler didn't hesitate. She gave the command: "All power to pulse-fire cannons. Lock on to their dreadnought's weapon systems and fire at will." The space between Earth and the Imperial dreadnought erupted in light as pulse-fire shots streaked across the void, slamming into the dreadnought's shields. The Imperial shields shimmered, then buckled, but not without the dreadnought retaliating. Beams of pure energy cut through space, narrowly missing the Valiant as it maneuvered, twisting and turning to avoid the onslaught. Other ships in the Exodus fleet joined the assault, unleashing their arsenal on the Imperial ships that poured in from the edges of the system. Space itself seemed to tear as ships exploded, a cascade of fire and debris drifting into the silent void. Chapter 4: A Message in Fire. Earth was holding its own, but Admiral Vree had reinforcements. Another fleet of Imperial ships warped into the system, nearly doubling their forces. The Valiant took several hits, its shields flickering under the strain. A warning blared, and Captain Kessler's screen displayed a fatal breach in one of the lower decks. Lives lost, sacrificed to hold the line. But then the signal came through. "Valiant, this is Dr. Arden," Evelyn's voice crackled through the comms. "The Stardust device is armed. We're going to give them something to remember." From a secure command station hidden beneath Mars, Dr. Arden initiated the countdown for the Stardust device, aimed at the Empire's homeworld, Kalaris, the Empire's heart, their pride, and the seat of their galactic government. If the device reached its target, Kalaris would become a supernova, a message that humanity would never kneel. Captain Kessler's heart pounded as she heard Evelyn's plan. If they succeeded, it would be a warning. Earth was no mere pawn in the Empire's game. But it would also mean the deaths of millions, potentially billions, of innocents. Yet there was no turning back. "Message received, Dr. Arden." "We'll cover the deployment," Kessler responded. Her voice hardened. As the Exodus fleet breast forward, the Stardust device hurtled toward Kalaris, hidden by decoy drones and signal jammers. Each second ticked by, marked by the thundering heartbeats of everyone in the Exodus command center. Kalaris's defensive fleet picked up the approaching device too late, scrambling frantically to intercept it. On the command screen they watched the timer wind down. 15 seconds, 10, 5, humanity's vengeance was about to be delivered. The countdown reached 0, but instead of the explosion, a single message from Kalaris broke through Earth's comms. An unexpected, desperate plea. "Please, wait, we surrender. Spare our world," the voice crackled, half static, half panicked breath. It was a sound no one had ever expected to hear from the Galactic Empire. Earth's leaders held their breath. Dr. Arden stared at the message, her finger hovering over the detonation switch. And in that heartbeat of indecision, the screen flickered, showing a live feed of the Imperial capital on Kalaris. The planetary governor's face filled the screen, wide-eyed with terror. Then the screen went black, replaced by a warning: "Incoming transmission from Admiral Vree." Evelyn's finger froze over the button, and the message boomed once more. Admiral Vree's voice, now laced with something darker. "You might have won this battle, but you misunderstand us humans. We will return, and we will not offer a second chance." Chapter 5: The Reprisal. The message from Admiral Vree echoed across Earth's comms, chilling every soul who heard it. "We will return, and we will not offer a second chance." The words hung in the air like a death sentence. Captain Lara Kessler, still clenching the control panel of the SS Valiant, stared at the flickering comm screen in disbelief. Earth had made its stand, had made its statement. But now the Empire had tasted humanity's defiance, and that was not something they would let slide. "Prepare for reinforcements," the ship's lieutenant barked. His voice was tight, his eyes scanning the void, expecting another fleet to drop in at any moment. But there was something worse coming. The moment the message from Vree ended, the comms had gone dead. A ghostly silence had replaced all channels, leaving only the distant hum of the Valiant's damaged systems and the soft creak of its hull. That silence would last only a moment. Dr. Evelyn Arden had seen it coming. She had been poring over the sensor data when the transmission from Kalaris had ended. Something wasn't right. The sudden cutoff wasn't just tactical. It felt like the calm before a storm. Then the alert sounded. "Admiral Vree has initiated the final protocol," a voice from the military command center announced, its panic unmistakable. "They've launched the Imperial Retribution Fleet." The earth-shaking truth was quickly becoming clear. The Empire wasn't just going to war. They were going to obliterate Earth. Chapter 6: The Final Protocol. The Retribution Fleet was not like any military force Earth had ever seen. It wasn't a fleet of ships, it was a mobile armada of world-destroying stations, built specifically for the type of warfare the Empire waged when their pride was wounded. These ships were massive planet-killer titans, equipped with weapons that could shatter a moon with a single shot. They didn't fight battles, they eradicated worlds. As the sensors aboard Earth's remaining fleet detected the incoming wave, panic spread. Earth had made a statement with the Stardust device, but it was a fleeting victory, a last-ditch attempt to prevent extinction, knowing the price of defiance. Admiral Vree had unleashed a weapon that would ensure no civilization would dare challenge the Empire again. The Retribution Fleet would be Earth's end, unless humanity could do the unthinkable. "Doctor, we've intercepted transmissions," one of Evelyn's engineers stammered. His face was pale as he read the screen. "The Retribution Fleet isn't just targeting Earth. They're targeting every human colony in known space. The Empire is making an example of us. Evelyn's mind raced. Earth's only hope was to fight back, but the Exodus fleet was crippled, scattered in the wake of the Empire's overwhelming counterattack. The Valiant was limping, barely holding together, and the other Exodus ships were out of commission, either destroyed or on the run. "We can't fight them all," Evelyn muttered to herself, her mind already running calculations at breakneck speed. She turned sharply, her eyes narrowing with resolve. "But we can fight where they least expect it." She had a plan, or at least a gambit. Chapter 7, The Last Gamble. "We have one shot," Evelyn said, pacing in the command center. Her breath came out in sharp bursts as she focused on the star charts flashing before her. "We need to access their central command. If we can infiltrate the Retribution fleet's control systems, we can sabotage their weapon systems. If we disrupt their central hub, we might be able to trigger a chain reaction that could destroy the fleet without firing a single shot." General Talbot, who had remained silent until now, raised an eyebrow. "That's a suicide mission. Their flagship, the Oblivion, is a fortress. You'll never get close enough." Evelyn didn't flinch. "It's not about getting close to the Oblivion. We're not going to attack it. We're going to hijack their network from the inside. The Oblivion is their nerve center. If we cripple it, the entire fleet goes dark. Their communications, their systems, they all fall apart." The general's skepticism didn't waver, but there was something in his eyes now. Something that hinted at understanding, at the gravity of the situation. "You'll need to get onto the Oblivion," he said flatly, almost as if it was a foregone conclusion. Evelyn nodded. "I know, but I can't do this alone." Captain Kessler stepped forward, her eyes hard. "You won't be alone. We'll get you there." It was a decision made not out of hope, but out of sheer necessity. The Valiant, though damaged, was still humanity's best chance, and Evelyn had the coordinates for the Empire's most prized warship. Chapter 8. Infiltration. The Valiant dove through space like a phantom, using cloaking technology and all the speed it could muster. Their mission was simple: get close enough to the Oblivion's command center, infiltrate and plant a virus that would spread through their network like wildfire. The Oblivion was a floating city of steel and blood, a massive battleship that was the heart of the Empire's military might. Infiltrating its defenses would require precision, stealth, and everything humanity could muster. And yet, as the Valiant approached the Oblivion, the lights inside the command room dimmed, a singular thought hammering in Evelyn's mind. There's no turning back now. The shuttle detached from the Valiant, carrying Evelyn, Kessler, and a handful of soldiers through the black void toward the heart of the Empire's weapon. The moment they breached the outer atmosphere of the Oblivion, alarms blared. The ship was on high alert, but it was too late. They had made it past the outer defenses. Now all that was left was to reach the central core. But as they navigated the ship's interior, wading through corridors that smelled of metal and decay, a new, terrifying realization struck. The Oblivion was expecting them. Chapter 9, Betrayal. At the heart of the Oblivion, the team discovered the unthinkable. There, standing in the shadows, was Admiral Vree himself. "You were foolish to think you could infiltrate our systems, humans," he said with a dark smile. "You underestimated us." The walls shifted around them, revealing that the Oblivion had already anticipated this attack. The virus they'd planned to deploy was already neutralized. Every move had been predicted, every escape route blocked. Vree's smug expression twisted with malice as the doors sealed shut behind them. "We were always prepared for your retaliation, and no, we will finish what we started." But as his voice echoed in the chamber, Evelyn's eyes locked onto a single blinking light in the distance. There in the far corner, a small, hidden terminal glowed. Something was off about it, something wrong. In that instant, the shuttle's emergency systems activated, signaling a countdown. "Admiral," Evelyn whispered, "you've made a mistake. You're not the only one with secrets." The countdown reached its final moments as Evelyn activated the hidden device. It was no longer a virus they had planted, it was a self-destruct. "Kalaris will burn."